Here's another short clip with Keith Edwards. Holy shit, J.D. Vance confirms his wife is over it. Let's have a listen. I think it plays for 12 minutes.
Hey everyone, so JD Vance was asked a couple of questions, one of which slipped him up, and he admitted that him and his wife had a huge disagreement. I have that coming up for you. Donald Trump is playing with the idea of just launching nukes. Yeah, the president who is suffering from dementia and is trying to acquire as much power as possible, and the one that was called the peace president, is threatening dropping nukes. I want to also talk about, while all this stuff is happening, on November 1st, SNAP benefits, which is another way to say food stamps, it's a way for people who are low income and struggling to eat. The funding for SNAP benefits will run out on November 1st. And that is not because we're out of money. Donald Trump could appropriate money, if he wanted to, tomorrow to make sure that SNAP doesn't run out of funds to help the most needy in this country. He's just choosing not to do that. So I am almost certain that he's going to allow that to happen. He wants as much pain as possible to be inflicted so that people become desperate. And I think so that when people are desperate, crime happens. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about.
I made this kit for women that want to try and make...
An ad just popped up.
One, if you see someone stealing food, no, you didn't. Just look away, okay? That's always, but especially, you're probably going to see more of it happening. If you have the means, offer to pay for that person's food. We all have to help each other out right now. And two, if you have the means, I think what we can do right now in this time as well is donate money to food pantries and to shelters. So I'm going to show you how easy this is. I'm actually on Bread for the City, which is a local food pantry in the DC area, which is where I live. And I'm going to donate right now. Look how easy this is. There is a little donate button at the very top there. Now you can just go on the internet, search local food shelter, local pantry, local homeless shelter in your area. And I'm sure some great options are going to show up. This is the one for me. Now, they have a one-time or monthly. I'm going to do a one-time. I'm going to do $1,000. There we go. I'm going to put in some information here that my editor will blur out. Credit card. There we go. Billing address. Again, editor is going to blur this out. There we go. Donate. Y'all, I think that took less than a minute. And there we go. I have donated to my local pantry. And I invite you, if you have the means, I invite you to do the same thing. You can make a difference. Please do what you can for people who are hurting in this government shutdown. If you don't have money to donate, it's totally fine. You can donate your time. Maybe you have some food laying around. You can donate that. But certainly, you want to help. There are ways you can help. Now, on to more serious business. Unfortunately, Donald Trump tweeted this just before meeting with the leader of China. He said the United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished, including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office because of the tremendous destructive power. I hated to do it, but had no choice. Russia is second, and China is a distant third, but will be even within 5 years because of other countries' testing programs. I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. What can really be said about this other than Donald Trump, who, like I said at the top, was supposed to be the peace president, be becoming more and more unhinged? Things are chaotic enough. Do we really want to be dropping nukes? Is that something we want to do? I don't understand what the point of this is. I don't understand what it is, just to show off. There has been reporting previously that Donald Trump is kind of obsessed with nukes, and this is, quite frankly, a little terrifying that he wants to do this. And
it's more than terrifying. Donald Trump is doing everything that he can to distract people from the Epstein files. And I think that deep down inside he knows that eventually those photographs of him with those young girls on his lap that are topless is going to surface. And that'll end his presidency. It'll probably put him in Rikers Island where he belongs. So he's going to take the entire world with him. The guy is mentally unbalanced. And like Keith Edwards said, if he wanted to, he could fix the SNAP thing in a second. but he wants to convict. He wants to cause a lot of pain and have people start stealing and killing and robbing just to eat, so he can unleash more of his military into those cities. Let's go back.
And I think we will just have to wait and see. Someone said here, America, you are underreacting to this insane man. He'd rather nuke a country than release the Epstein files. Well, if that doesn't scream Nobel Peace Prize, then I don't know what does, yeah. So, more sanity from the President of the United States, but let's not become numb to it and let's keep talking about it. I think what I also would like to be talking about is the fact that J.D. Vance and Usha Vance are clearly, I mean, we've talked about it a couple of times now, but there's definitely some there. They are not on the same page, and he admitted to that. By this one woman, she asked a couple of questions, and she got some good answers. Now, this was at a Turning Point USA event where J.D. Vance was fielding questions from the audience, and this very brave woman actually asked J.D. Vance about immigrants and what it means to be a Christian, and look at what he said in response.
You are married to a woman who is not Christian. In her Wikipedia, I mean, I just looked that up. I don't even know what her faith was. I didn't know this before. But she still calls herself Hindu. You are raising three kids in cultural, racial, religious household. How are you maintaining, or how are you teaching your kids not to keep your religion ahead of their mother's religion? Or how are you teaching them that your kind, that kind who got here just few years or few decades ago is different or is better than your mom's kind who got here just a generation before? How are you balancing that? And when you talk about too many immigrants here, when did you guys decide that number? Why did you sell us a dream? You made us spend our youth, our wealth in this country and gave us a dream. You don't owe us anything. We have worked hard for it. Then how can you as a vice president stand there and say that we have too many of them now and we are going to take them out to people who are here rightfully so by paying the money that you guys asked us? You gave us the path, and now how can you stop it and tell us we don't belong here anymore? And one more thing. Do you have to
There's a lot there. I don't know if I'm going to remember all this, but I will try.
I'm sorry. I had to say all of this, and please take it with due. I mean, I'm saying all of this with due respect.
Go ahead.
I have no intention of causing a scene here or anything, but
we're not close to causing a scene. Don't worry.
But we talked about Christianity, all of this. I'm not even Christian, and I'm here standing to show support. Why are we making Christianity one of the major thing that you have to have in common to be one of you guys, to show that I love America just as much as you do? Why is that still a question? Why do I have to be a Christian?
Okay, so there was a lot there, and I'm going to try to respond to as much of it as I can. So on the question of immigration, so first of all, I can believe that we should have lower immigration levels, but if the United States passed a law and made a promise to somebody, the United States, of course, has to honor that promise. Nobody's talking about that. I'm talking about people who came in violation of the laws of the United States of America, and I'm talking about in the future reducing the number of people. Sorry, what?
Can I continue on that? Because when you just said you are...
I don't know who this woman is, but God bless this woman. She is more American than most people in that goddamn room. Let's keep going. Holy shit.
Not stopping with the people who came here legally, right? But you are pushing out policies that hurt us. And these policies are not even solving the problems. These policies are just creating chaos.
No, ma'am. Okay, so again, I'm gonna finish answering the question, and then if I've answered all 9 of your questions in less than 15 minutes, then we can keep on going. We got to have a little fun, right? So here's the thing. I can believe that that the United States should lower its levels of immigration in the future, while also respecting that there are people who have come here through lawful immigration pathways that have contributed to the country. But just because one person or 10 people or 100 people came in legally and contributed to the United States of America, does that mean that we're thereby committed to let in 1 million or 10 million or 100 million people a year in the future? No, that's not right. We cannot have, I'll go and finish. We cannot have an immigration policy where what was good for the country 50 or 60 years ago binds the country inevitably for the future. There's too many people who want to come to the United States of America, and my job as vice president is not to look out for the interests of the whole world, it's to look out for the people of the United States.
I mean, I guess, but also didn't your stupid administration just get $40 billion to Argentina? So, which is it? Which is it? Which, by the way, I don't know if I necessarily care about. I think if we can give money, that's $40 billion is so little. If we can give it to countries and make some like us more, we have stronger allies, great. But that's not, like, they want it both ways. They want it both ways. Now, you might remember she asked about J.D. Vance's family. And J.D. Vance actually answered that. This woman got under his skin. Here's what he had to say.
Everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our two oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school. Our 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. That's the way that we have come to our arrangement. But, thank you. My 8-year-old was also very proud of his first communion. Thank you, guys. I'll tell him that Old Miss wishes him the best. But I think everybody has to have this own conversation when you're in a marriage. I mean, it's true for friends of mine who are in Protestant and Catholic marriages, friends of mine who are in, atheist and Christian marriages. You just got to talk to the only advice I can give is you just got to talk to the person that God has put you with, and you've got to make those decisions as a family unit. For us, it works out. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way. But if she doesn't, then God says everybody has free will, and so that doesn't cause a problem for me. That's something you work out with your friends, with your family, with the person that you love. Again, one of the most important Christian principles.
That doesn't cause a problem for me. Do you think that's going to cause a problem for MAGA? That J.D. Vance says that he has a wife that isn't moved by the Christian church and that he hopes one day she is? I think that is a total disconnect between what the base wants and what he's offering them. So I think it's a huge issue, and it's also very strange to say to a group of 10,000 people, I hope my wife eventually comes to see religion the way I do. Very strange. Why not just accept who she is and what she believes? But I guess that's very MAGA, to want to change people and control them. So, I don't know. God bless that woman. God bless.
So, what do you think, huh? You think he's involved with Erica Kirk? Wouldn't surprise me, but it'll sure piss off Peter Thiel, because I think Peter Thiel's his butt buddy lover. You know, the guy that owns PayPal, the guy that made this guy, the guy that started this guy off as a venture capitalist, the guy that paid $15 million to get him elected to the Senate, the guy that called Trump, hey, I'd like you to make J.D. Vance your VP. That's the same guy. That's Peter Thiel. I'll attach the link. Let me know what you think. You know what Keith Edwards thinks, and you sure as hell know what I think, don't you?